To the NFL we go here on First Take. Aaron Rodgers appeared on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, speaking for the first time since the season ended. He said his future is still up in the air as the Steelers have not made any offers. He also praised Mike McCarthy, his former coach and new Steelers head coach, and says he has kept in touch with GM Omar Khan. Here is Aaron Rodgers.
There hasn't been any progressive conversations. I love Mike, and Mike and I have kept in contact over the years. I've had conversations with Omar. I really, I think Omar, enjoyed having me there. I think the guys, had a positive response, to our time together. But again, there hasn't been any deadline set on me. There hasn't been any contract, floated in front of me for me to well, we're giving you till, March the 8th to make a decision on this contract. There's been nothing to that respect.
J. Mack and Kmart are back with us here on First Take. And so let's fast forward. Let's make decisions for the Steelers. What is better for Pittsburgh? Is it bringing back Aaron Rodgers or more maybe dabbling in free agency and bringing in a guy like Kyler Murray?
You asking me?
I'm asking you, girl.
Shay, at this point, the Steelers don't seem as though, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't seem as though they want to think about the future.
Yeah.
Like next season and the season after that. Because last year I thought they had an opportunity to sort of figure out what is going to be 4 years down the line, who's going to be our guy. And then they went the Aaron Rodgers route, which, okay. He won them games that just by virtue of from his neck up, just by being Aaron Rodgers, he won them a lot of games. However, this is a team that seems to always want to do Band-Aid moves when it comes to the quarterback. And the fact that they literally are waiting, I don't know what is happening, where they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, except there hasn't been a contract offer. And Aaron Rodgers sounds like he wants to come back, and he's called himself a free agent, but he hasn't said he's definitely playing in 2026. They need each other. Because we saw last year what the team was able to do, being in that locker room several times last year. This locker room loves Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't think a Kyler Murray, I think that kind of confuses things.
I feel as though Kyler Murray would be a better answer for what you just said. They haven't made moves that bring the future into it. They could have drafted Jackson Dart last year and still brought Aaron Rodgers back and had him a part of the team and had a rookie quarterback in waiting to be able to develop and let him now get forward. They didn't do that. So now you're in the same situation you were in last year. And this isn't a knock or anything towards Aaron Rodgers. I just feel at this point, if you bring in a guy like Kyler Murray, who's only 28 years old, a first overall draft pick, a ton of talent, somebody that's going to be hungry after being released from the Arizona Cardinals, you give yourself a chance to have a quarterback that you can try to build around, and he's not going to be expensive. He's going to be getting paid $35 million from the Arizona Cardinals, so you can get him on a deal that's cheaper for potentially a starting quarterback that you can try to see what he has. Can he get the ball to DK Metcalf? Can he make some of those same plays that we've seen splashes of in the past with Kyler Murray? Don't forget, this is a guy that's been highly productive when healthy for the Arizona Cardinals.
Interesting. Stephen A., what do you think?
The answer to this is Kyler Murray. But Aaron Rodgers is on my mind. And maybe he's on my mind because I got some stuff to deal with later on today in terms of Draymond Green talking about folks with terrible takes and no accountability and all of this stuff in the media. I'll deal with that later on my own platform and here as well, too. But let me say this. At some point in time, Kimberly, J-Mac, as a reporter, as a commentator that was a football player, are we allowed to say 1 + 1 = 2? I just want to know. Is that accountability? Are we allowed to say 1 + 1 = 2? I think we are, right? Why do I bring that up? So Aaron Rodgers comes on the Pat McAfee show, and we all know how I love the bad man that is Aaron Rodgers. We know how I feel about him. But you're on there praising Mike McCarthy. We kept in touch and acting like people are just, coming up with stuff. When it comes to whatever y'all relationship was like. Here's what we know. The last time Mike McCarthy was seen with Aaron Rodgers, he got fired in week 13 of the NFL season. Fired. We saw reports that the quarterback at the time, which was Aaron Rodgers, was accusing him of being a bit archaic. And in the immediate aftermath of that, y'all, Kimberly, correct me if I'm wrong, 2019, 2020, 2021, the Green Bay Packers went 13-3 each season after he departed. So why would it be wrong for us to say, we ain't trying to hear about that marriage again? When you got divorced, look at the success you had. And whatever Mike McCarthy was then, it can't possibly be better now. Ain't nobody thinking that. So I respect the hell where Aaron Rodgers is coming from. But the fact that Mike McCarthy is there, let him coach Kyler Murray. Let him coach Will Howard. Because it's fair for us to deduce that if it didn't work out with y'all in the end when you were in your mid-30s, why should we believe it's going to work out with y'all when you're approaching 43 years of age in December?
Maybe you've grown.
Is that fair?
That is fair, but my counter to that would be maybe you've grown, you've matured, you've learned things at your various
Some married
stops.
people.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers has gotten older.
Right.
He's got older now.
True.
So he's not the same player is what I'm saying. It's not like you inherited him again in his mid-30s. I got that part. But the point is that he's aged, and he's not what he used to be. So when he was in his prime and it wasn't working out with y'all, how's it going to work while he approaching 43 years of age? Is that not a fair question to ask?
It is fair, but we got to leave this here because we have some major breaking news out of the NFL. We'll get to it right after the break. We'll be right back.
Kansas City Wednesday as the Chiefs traded All-Pro corner Trent McDuffie to the Rams for a package of draft picks that includes the number 29 selection in the 2026 NFL Draft. Chiefs will also receive 2026 5th and 6th round picks and a 2027 3rd round pick, according to our Adam Schefter. Well, since 2017, the Rams have traded away their first-round pick in all but 1 year. That was 2024, when they eventually took the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. Players they acquired in those deals include Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Ramsey, and Matthew Stafford. LA still owns the 13th overall pick in this year's draft, which they acquired from the Falcons last year. All right, we say good morning to our NFL reporter, Kimberly A. Martin, and let's break down this deal between Kansas City and LA. Kimberly, why did the Rams make this move?
All right, Amina, you just showed that graphic. When I heard this news, the first thing I thought was, okay, the Rams are back on screw them picks time, right? But when you text people in that building, the excitement about Trey McDuffie is palpable. I had one Ram source tell me Trent is the real deal. Yes, they gave up 4 picks to get him. But here's the thought process that was explained to me. He's 25 years old. You get an all-pro level player, a guy who you can sign to an extension in exchange essentially for that 29 overall pick, which the draft, you guys know, it's a crapshoot. But here, the Rams know exactly what they have in Trent. And this is a team that I covered in the NFC title game. All the questions were about Matt Stafford's future and whether he would be back. Guys, the Rams are officially all in year 18 of Matt Stafford to win it all.
Yeah, a huge move for the Rams, and the Rams are now Super Bowl favorites at plus 750. Meanwhile, the Patriots, they'll release Stephon Diggs at the start of the new league year next week, and Diggs had a team-high 85 receptions last season. So how do the Patriots approach now having to replace that production?
Yeah, Amina, not just the production, but the leadership. He was like a big brother in that locker room, well liked. So Mike Vrabel has been asked about this in the past, and he said, you know, number one receivers, you got to draft them, you got to develop them. Or, I don't know, you could trade for one. Now, one name that we've all thought about is A.J. Brown. Obviously, the connection between Mike Vrabel, the head coach, A.J. Brown stemming from their time in Tennessee. The Eagles are not actively shopping A.J. Brown, but their GM, Howie Roseman, is listening, and teams are calling, and he wants a haul. Now, it makes sense for the Patriots, a team that went to the Super Bowl and now obviously has issues on offense that it has to shore up. But A.J. Brown makes a lot of sense. The Patriots were active in free agency last year, so we're going to see if they'll do it again this year.
Yeah, it especially